All right, everybody, we're going to get started here in a couple minutes. We're going to talk about quantum cards and do a demo. Here's a demo we're going to do. There's tomorrow.
You didn't say we were starting.
Oh, we're just getting started.
Thanks for telling me.
We're starting. All right.
I like how you have all these notes and I have nothing. You're so prepared.
Well, we're going to start out with some definitions. And actually, I want to show you the word game that everyone is playing here. This is one of the interesting things. When you hear words, they don't always mean what you think they mean. And they're not always spelled the way that you think they're spelled. So words have lots of power and lots of meaning, and it's really important for everyone to understand lots about words.
I know. And once you start going down this road, you pay attention to every single word that comes out of your mouth, which is, you can get a little hyper about that too.
So the word definition, look at this. Definitions. So just think about that. And I'm going to read from a couple of these books. This is the first one, Spirit World, Dylan Sakashio.
That scares me.
If you want to hear more from Dylan, go to crow777radio.com. And he has 2 podcasts on Crow 777. Okay, so this is directly reading from this book. And I'm going to paraphrase. So he's saying that it's, why does this matter about words and language and usage, especially when we're talking about humans, which he says never to use that word, and sovereignty. And
wait, he says don't use sovereignty?
Human.
Oh.
Just like Matt from Quantum Conscious never uses the word human anymore either.
Oh, yeah. What does he say? He says being or something?
Mm-hmm. It says in here, actually.
Oh.
So why does any of this matter? It's not just words and manipulation of thought forms created by words, but it can bind things in the real world. So I'm paraphrasing from the book. It's binding to the natural world. None of the religions, including the world of commerce, which is also a religion, exist in the natural world as immutable, unchangeable laws. So they claim that dark occultists, or the reality itself, are compelling the living flesh and blood men, or living men and women, to enter illusionary constructs through the use of sorcery or mind control. And we just broke down the word government. I think that's in this other book, but government means mind control. So that's another thing about the words that you use.
Gubernare.
So government is 2 words, govern and ment. And govern comes from gubernare, which means to control. And then ment comes from the Latin ment or mente, which is mind. So control mind or mind control is how you break down the word government.
And we sent Thaddeus's child to school to ask his teacher if he would, didn't he have to break down words or something?
They were breaking down words in class.
And we were like, hey, ask your teacher if he can break down government. And he wouldn't do it.
Well, he said, we'll do it tomorrow. And he went home to look it up, how to break it down.
Yeah, and then he wouldn't do it.
He came back in and wouldn't do it. The teacher was like, no, we're not going to do that one. Interesting. Okay. Through the use of order followers. So these are people willing to enact violence and steal freedom for a paycheck. Once the sorcerers can create the illusion of wealth and then provide that illusion in abundance to the order followers, packaged with a sympathetic set of ideals that justifies immoral behavior, the sorcerers can force others to their system.
Sound familiar.
Through terrorism and fear. It doesn't matter what you know or believe. If those who control the paradigm believe something and act upon it, their actions will affect you. And we look at this, these, they say, sorcerers and people that are carrying out the message. And if you think about, and Matt brings this up all the time, wealthy, really, really wealthy individuals, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, some of these people are really, really old and should have retired to a life of relaxation a long time ago, and they're all still working. So why are they all still working? It's almost like they're forced to play this part in this game.
The vision in my head, I just see this marionette puppet strings, right?
They'd probably love to be retired and not still in the limelight doing all this travel.
Seriously.
Okay, this is the part of the book where they're breaking down government from Gubernare. I'm just going to show you that part right there. It's backwards for you probably on your screen. They break that down. So these books are interesting on how they break things down. And this other thing I thought was really interesting in words. So we hear all the time about ancient Greek and Roman mythology and also Egyptian mythology and how they're all interwoven and interrelated and how they all affect the world today. These ancient myths are still being played out today all the time. And one of those myths that's in modern society is right in front of us. And I never knew this. So like the Suez Canal.
Oh yeah.
By Egypt, right? What's Suez backwards? And it's built right in here. And you can see Suez backwards is Zeus. It's exactly Zeus.
Hidden in plain sight.
So all these things are around us and they're all used as spells for our minds and for the magic that's being played in the world around us. And the more we learn about some of these things from books like this and channels like Waters Above Crypto and others, James True, he has a YouTube channel as well where he breaks down a lot of this stuff in a really interesting way. He had a really good episode very recently on Rose 777 on YouTube. So if you just look up Rose 777 on YouTube and find the episode with James True, he breaks down I Pet Goat 2 and the burning of Notre Dame.
There's an I Pet Goat 1. So we watched the second one or what?
I don't know.
Oh, is that the only one?
I don't know. Never really investigated it.
I thought you watched it.
I watched I Pet Goat 2.
Oh.
But
okay.
I don't know if there's a 1.
Oh.
So
Weird.
we'd have to look that up. I never checked. So those shows would be really a good place for you to start if you look up Rose 777.
ROSE 777 on YouTube. Okay.
And if you look up just the James True episode, it takes a little bit to get into it. But once they get into the I Pet Goat 2 and the Notre Dame ritual, it's so obvious. Like you can't deny the ritual that was played out there. And it just starts your brain thinking.
Should we type in the I Pet Goat? Like, how do you spell that and stuff? People can see it. I do. It's just I Pet Goat and then number 2.
I'll put it in. That's why I was going to put it in.
Oh, I'll put it in. Okay.
Okay.
What? Oh, isn't that funny?
Maybe I'll put it in.
Oh, it's in numbers. Okay. Roman numerals 2.
Yeah.
It's creepy, you guys. So, but the way he breaks it down, like I wouldn't even watch it. I was like, no, I'm not bringing that into my aura. And Thaddeus is like, no, Heidi, like come over here, sit down and watch this. And then he goes and breaks it down. And actually it was a lot better because I'm really empathic and like sensitive. And I don't like bringing that stuff into my...
It's not scary. It's a 7-minute cartoon. And it just got creepy music to it. And it's weird. It's bizarre. And it was published on YouTube. I believe it was 2016. When you look it up, it'll tell you the date, but I think it was either 2014, maybe it was 2014. And it was 33 days before the Olympics started. And it shows the Notre Dame Cathedral on fire, collapsing in on itself years before it actually happened. And it shows the year of the tiger, which is this year. And this was done in 2014. So it's kind of showing events of today.
So weird.
When it was published. And it's very creepy.
And even looking into more of that Notre Dame stuff, like he was showing me last night, I was like, oh my God, like they cut the heads off the statues. Like there's so much to it that we're not told. We don't know.
And that was all, we're told that it was all in the news, but we're not told what the ritual means.
Yeah.
So you were shown in the news that before it started on fire, which is odd.
Because how does a stone building get on fire?
Well, there's some wood, but they have the world's best fire suppression system and human beings watching for fire every second of the day in those areas. So before that part started on fire, they cut the heads off all the statues on the roof in that section.
Why would you do that?
And then took the statues off.
So
very
weird.
strange. All right, naked people walking past us.
Don't mind the crazy people walking by. No, he's on his way to the sauna.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do today.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do this fun. You guys check this out. We're gonna do this fun quantum card experiment.
So there's these things called quantum cards, and I'm not a believer in the quantum cards. At least I wasn't. And then someone had one at PaleoFX years ago.
It was a Dry Farm Wines party.
And well, they had it before that. We used it at the Dry Farm Wines
Yeah.
party too. And that was on video. It's on our YouTube channel somewhere. And also on Instagram, where we did it twice with a quantum card. So there's 2 videos that we ran experiments with the quantum cards, and they actually worked for what we were using them for. So that was crazy. So we got a quantum card, we put it up on our website, and it's free. It's like you just pay shipping and handling because it costs us money to buy the packaging and to ship it to you. But we're going to give them away for free for you to try them before we start selling them. So we want you to try these experiments at home and tell us what you think. So it's literally just the cost of what it takes us to drive them to the post office with all the packages and ship them out. So you can go on our website on primalhacker.com and get them for free shipping and handling. But we're going to just show you the one experiment that we did at PaleoFX and at the Florida Mastermind. So this is the quantum card that we're trying out.
Live happily and healthily.
So it's basically like a credit card.
That's what it says on there.
It's embedded with powdered volcanic stone, and scalar frequencies are embedded into it. So that's how all these quantum cards work, is they take frequencies and they embed them into this material. And then they claim that it gives off that frequency to protect you from EMF. And it gives off that frequency that can structure water, wine, your food, help you sleep better, like all these things. So one of the ways they say to try it is to take a glass of wine, a glass of water, a glass of lemon juice. You choose. This is coconut water. So it's the good kind of coconut water. That's why it's pink with all the nutrients and minerals, and it hasn't been overly heated and pasteurized. Which is it called? Do you remember what it's called? The coconut water that we're using?
I have the bottle. Do I grab it?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is this is just poured from the same bottle into 2 separate glasses. They're the same glasses. And what we're going to do is wave the quantum card over one of them to put the energy of that card through the liquid by using both the energy in the card and our intention to direct the energy to this. And then we're going to try each one, the one that's been carded and the one that's not been carded, and see if there's any difference whatsoever. And honestly, we did a blind study at PaleoFX with Lewin from Dry Farm Wine. Lewin is the wine connoisseur. He's the wine taster to determine all the wine that Dry Farm Wines buys. So he's very skilled. He's a sommelier. So we took the same exact bottle of wine, poured it into 2 glasses, waved the card over one of the wines, and then had him taste the difference. And we didn't tell him anything. We just said, can you tell us what the difference between these 2 wines are? And there was a difference that even he could detect.
Is that the video we have on?
That's on Instagram somewhere.
Instagram. Okay. Yeah.
So you want to show Harmless Harvest?
Harmless Harvest. Coconut water.
So you want to show them?
Yeah, it's cold filtered. I already kind of did.
Okay.
You were talking.
So that's the best coconut water to buy. Waters Above Crypto told me about that, but we also got it at PaleoFX from Maylee, our friend Maylee from
La Biohacker,
Argentina. So this one will be our control. So you can see the glasses here. Maybe you can hold it up. And so then we're just wave the card. It's like 5 seconds, but we'll do it for a few seconds. And then
are you programming the card too, or you were
that's what I said, is I'm using my intention
and
the frequency of the card to structure this coconut water.
They can't really be close to this one.
The other thing you can do is you can set it down on the table. You can do this with a whole bottle of wine or the bottle of coconut water or your glass of water, and you just put the card underneath it for 5 to 30 seconds. And that's it. So then put the card away.
Now we need somebody who's blind tester.
Well, we can taste it too.
Oh.
We'll just see if there's
Should
any
bring Michael in here?
Well, this is my drink from the mornings. I haven't had my coconut water.
Well, I can get you some more.
Okay, well, let's taste it first.
Okay.
So we know it's okay.
Okay.
You try it for yourself, even knowing, and you see if there's a difference.
Oh, okay.
They smell different.
Really?
You try it.
I will.
Okay. I haven't tasted the second one yet. The first one tasted like.
Oh my God. That's so crazy, you guys.
It
Oh my
totally
God.
smells
Always
so
just
different.
blows my mind.
Oh my God. We have to get Michael to try it. It's
Yeah.
like night and day difference. Like this is
That's
toasted
so
coconut,
crazy.
and this is almost like sweet, like strawberry. I don't know. Like
It always just blows my mind.
that's crazy. Do you see a difference?
I did more with the smell, but yeah, definitely even aftertaste.
To me, there was a big difference in the flavor, but the smell is like
the smell
completely
is
different.
totally different. I think because I had to like upgrade in my smelling.
Well, if you want Michael to do it,
situation.
he's got to do it right now.
Okay, Michelangelo.
So they're the same, like literally from the same bottle.
We want you to come on live and do it.
So that's why we're giving these away for free right now. Is we bought a box of these, and I think we might have like 30. So we want you to try this. Like, don't believe us. Like, get one for shipping and handling. It's not that much money, and like if it works and it's structuring the water and making it more beneficial to your body, or it's helping you sleep better, why would you not want to try that? And we want your stories of like, did it actually work for you? Are we crazy?
All right, have a seat, bud. Are you guys? This is Michelangelo.
So remember which is which. He doesn't know what we did, so he's just going to try smell and taste, and then smell and taste, and see if there's any difference.
All right. So smell that one. And taste it right away. Can't wait. Let your palate kind of
Scrape your tongue off.
scrape your tongue with your teeth. Okay, now smell that one.
This one tasted a lot more like berries and sweeter.
That's what I
That's
thought.
the
too.
one.
Mhm. That's
It's
crazy.
like, Michael, what he did is he waved the
I'm
quantum
going to try
card
these now.
over it and then put it under it, and he charged this one.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
This,
There you go,
that one
guys.
tastes like toasted coconut,
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
No problem.
and this one just tastes like every time I do it. This
Super
is
sweet,
smoother and
yeah.
more berry.
So you can
sweeter.
take this
That's
and
crazy.
in the morning, like before you brush your teeth or whatever, set your coconut water on the card on the counter, and then come back to it.
Yeah.
I love that. We gotta do.
You could
that
do it with a
more.
whole bottle of wine before you serve it. And even if you had like a cheaper bottle of wine, like from Trader Joe's, and then you put this card, I'm telling you what,
Oh,
like
yeah,
you put this card under the wine, or you wave it over people's glasses of wine as you pour them, and it changes everything.
I just
It's
had an
crazy.
idea too. So if you take this and you go to like a gathering or it's like a fun thing
Oh,
to
yeah.
do, like at the table, because everybody's sitting around talking about like maybe things that aren't very interesting. So you can be like the most interesting person at the table.
Yeah, just whip out your quantum card and start waving it over your
Whip
glass
out
of
your
wine.
quantum
And they're going to be
card.
like, what are you doing? Like, oh, check out my credit card. here,
Yeah, right.
everybody. And no, you're waving it over your glass of wine and you're structuring it. And then you just do it to someone else's.
And then you can say,
Like
live
play-
happily and healthily.
Play some. So, of course, like a lot of these frequency cards are made overseas. And I'd love to see more of them made here.
Yeah.
There is a device that's being made called the Lila Q. It's very expensive. But their device embeds the energy, and you can choose the energy that goes into it based on the device that you buy and the cards that you charge it with. And then you can charge your own cards. And honestly, scalar energy, it can be taken from the cosmos or the ether by you, if you know how to do it. So the intent of a device like the Lila Q is to train you to pull those frequencies into any card that you want and make them and give them to people or sell them to people as part of your practice.
Yeah.
So a friend of ours has that. He's been messing around with it. So most of them right now, like this has powdered volcanic crystal that comes from overseas that helps with that frequency.
Is it the same that's in our necklaces?
It's similar. So it's like, this is tourmaline and this is like a powdered tourmaline in here.
Mine has germanium on it too.
Yep. So tourmaline gives you like a protective energetic shield around your body and supposedly protects you from like some electromagnetic frequencies. Also, like some of this tourmaline, because it's volcanic and where it's taken out of the ground, there's a ton of papers, well, at least one paper, a ton of articles, and at least one journal article on PubMed that says these give off radioactivity, not this, but these. And I like that because they're like, oh, you could be exposed to radioactivity. So they did all these tests and they found that they were giving off some radioactive isotopes. Now, not enough to harm you. And that was part of what the journal article was saying, is it won't harm you. However, like that radioactivity for alchemy is huge, and it is illegal for you to own something that's radioactive.
Oh, right.
But this is one of the ways you can actually own something radioactive and use the alchemy of radioactivity, which is part of the reason they don't want you having anything radioactive, is because you can transmute that energy of radioactivity using alchemical processes in your heart
I was just gonna say, in your alchemical laboratory of your Sacred Heart.
to do some really powerful work.
Is that why like we put it right here too?
I don't know.
Probably.
Could be. So if you go to primalhacker.com, you'll find this biohacker quantum card is what it's listed as, and it's free. So go ahead and like grab one and we'll ship it to you. And you do some experiments,
Totally.
try it for yourself, and then tell us what your experiences were.
Sage wants to come say hi.
All right. So then I have just a couple more things to talk through, and we'll let tomorrow go while I get another drink of water.
Do you want this?
No, I just had.
Oh, okay.
These are a case of like 6 of these was like $50. So I like treasure these.
Oh.
They're not cheap.
I didn't know they were that expensive.
Yeah.
Sage, come up here and say hi. Come on. Come say hi. Come on. Come on. Ah. You sit. Sit. Good puppy. All right. Sage and I are going to have a little chat with you guys while Thaddeus is getting. You gonna say hi to everybody? Say hi. Hi from Sage Little Bear. All right. So something that I've been thinking about a lot, you guys, in the last week or so is how everybody talks about. So I'm like a Kundalini yoga instructor and breathwork instructor. And everybody talks about like mind, body, spirit, right? Like they always put spirit last, or we focus on our body. Uh-oh, somebody's got your chair. Oh, baby. So we always focus on like the 3D body, connection to the earth or whatever. And then spirit is always like something that is like, oh yeah, you can't forget your spiritual connection. Well, I think that we've got that all wrong, actually. So as we know, we live in this inverted plane and everything is upside down, backwards, and whatever they tell you is the opposite is usually true. So I'd like to just get us thinking about like flipping that. So it's spirit, mind, body, and like use that on your inner tuning fork and go, does that feel like right action to you? Because what they want us to do is to be completely cut off, right? Like cut off from our spiritual connection. And you can have like this organized religious belief or like all these different religion things out there, right?
No.
But they've all been corrupted in some way to keep you from knowing yourself and your connection and your source energy. And I think that if we start bringing that to the forefront of our existence, like just go to India and look at how people, like they live in their spiritual world, right? Like that's so opposite of what we do in the Western world. And look at how cut off we are from things. Like just go walk around or have a conversation with somebody and you're like, you don't have any spiritual connection to this place. You don't even go out in nature. Like there's not a lot of things that people are doing that are enhancing their spiritual connection. And even like in the Bible is like a code. It's not like a book that you're going to, some people interpret it literally, right? But other people are like, this is a code. And it says in there to know thyself. And how many people actually know thyself? Probably, do we even know if we know ourselves? Who knows?
What, in the Rose 777.
Yeah.
On talking with James True.
Yeah. Oh,
He doesn't want cherries.
Kisses.
You don't want cherries. Yeah. And on Waters Above Crypto last night, they both talked about the same thing about knowing yourself. And that's part of why you're here. And you're being distracted from yourself at every opportunity.
Right. And think of how much distraction there is out there. So I don't know. I feel like people have like this wanting, like they want to know more. They want to do more for their spiritual self. And I'm speaking like in my perspective of people that I engage with in my community, and people are looking for it. And just in my own like Kundalini practice, it's really fun to see people come in and like start connecting back to themselves and tuning into your own inner tuning fork, because like who trusts you? And do you trust yourself? And we've been taught, we've been indoctrinated, we've been programmed our entire life. Sorry, I was looking at a book up there. I get distracted. To not trust ourselves. Oh, you got to trust your doctor. Oh, you got to trust, your pharmacist. You got to trust the grocery store. Well, how about local farmers and trusting yourself and bringing that back in and really healing yourself from your inner knowing, which is, I think, the most important. So Thaddeus and I are going to be talking a lot more about like health freedom too. And on our YouTube channel, you'll find videos that I actually just made a video for my 100 Days of Why You Should Drink Your Pee video on health freedom and why it's so important. Like we don't need to give away our health to somebody else. And I'm even talking about naturopaths and homeopathic practitioners. They have things that can help you get back, like, because if your body is so far away from homeostasis and balance and harmony, right? They have methods to bring you back. But in the end, they should set you free, right? I mean, you don't need to, I think, be chained to supplements and be chained to all these things. We have our own perfect medicine. We have things that we can do that are for free. Every morning, go out, get your feet on the ground, get your feet in the wet, dewy grass is like the number one thing that you can do for your health. Look at the sunlight. They're all free. So stop giving away our power. And we have dominion. I was talking to a client yesterday and I was like, dude, you have dominion. And they were like they stopped for a second. They're like, oh, like, that's right. Like, you forgot. So it's about remembering. And then we had this talk about remembering. So remembering, like, it starts from the ground up, you guys. It's body, it's mind and spirit, right? But no matter what order you put them in, they're all equally as important. You can't deny the body and just go, oh, I'm going to meditate all day. I mean, if you have that capacity, great, but you can't deny one for the other. Like, all three of them need to be in alignment. And I don't know, like, I think that's something, there's something there. And I would love to see like more people just live spiritually in the Western world. And I've been to India and I love how they have their guru, every dashboard of every tuk-tuk and rickshaw and car or whatever. They have their guru there. They've got their, their peace beads. They've got.
But what do you have instead of a guru on the dashboard of your car? You've got your cell phone. Yeah. And then you're calling it SIRI, which is, a Sanskrit word. And I believe it means like, I bow to somebody, or I bow to, it's like you're acknowledging that person or that thing as something more powerful than you. And it's like, oh no, it's just a Danish woman's name or something. And it's like, no, it's actually not. So actually we can circle that back to your spirit world. You're being spirit world by calling your black magic scrying box SIRI. And a lot of people don't even know that. And also, like, that machine, that little thing is programming you. We just had a 5G talk. Should we talk about the demon things? If there's something you have.
That's so funny. Like, it was funny, but it wasn't funny, but it was funny. So Thaddeus was giving a talk and we were discussing 5G and 5G towers and all this stuff. And there's this gentleman who he seemed like he had, something was disrupted. And should she say, hey, we are whole? Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks, Lyndon. This gentleman he had some, like, I feel like it was something schizophrenic, like, about him. And I think, schizophrenic is very connected to the spirit world. And he, at the end of Thaddeus's talk, everybody's talking very sciencey and just like, oh, we got to stop this. And it was very like activist minded. And are you going to talk with me about this?
There's something about that in here. I was trying to find it.
Oh, okay. I'm very engaged when you're talking.
No, it's about the demons coming in through the eye, and it was here about that. So I was trying to find the quote because it was interesting.
Hey, you do Kundalini, Lyndon? That's cool. Awesome.
So anyway,
he at the end of the talk, you guys, it was like crazy, but it was awesome. He's like, you guys don't even know what you're doing. He's like, you're bringing this black box in and all the demons. And he was like, you're bringing them in on your computers and you're bringing the demons in on your TV. And he just like kind of went off and started like proselytizing about how we're bringing in the demons with all these scrying machines.
It's a black mirror.
Black mirror.
And the demons supposedly, in his opinion, come in through your eyes, and you're watching the black screen.
Yeah. Through your eyes. Okay.
So they can enter through your eyes. Yeah.
And everybody else like in the room was kind of like, okay. And Thaddeus was so eloquently was like, dude, like, you're right. Like there is actually patents out there from Hendrikus Luce, and you can look that up on I call it googly eyes, but on your black scrying machine, and you can find a patent for a flicker rate on TVs and devices. And it was just so interesting hearing somebody who is obviously somewhat slightly disconnected from like how us normal people kind of operate. And he was like instantly talking about demons and bringing in that spiritual like connection. And everybody, it was just so interesting to see the observation. Everybody was like, like, we don't talk like that. Like, we don't do that here. Like we're in the Midwest, and we're talking science. We're talking about science and 5G. And anyway, it was really cool. But that part was cool. And at the end of that talk, everybody's talking about, the 5G and how we got to protect ourselves. And the guy that, it was funny. The guy that was hosting the event, he wears mesh goggles because he thinks that it all comes in through your eyes. So he wears EMF protective glasses.
He has EMF protective clothing, a scarf
around his thyroid.
And they look like
futuristic, like Mad Max.
If you look at the eye blown up of a fly.
Oh yeah.
They look like he's wearing like fly
this mesh
eyes.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's super crazy. And so
but they block EMF.
Right. But like, I don't know. So this is what like I'm gonna end with this. So like I'm in this group of people, they're all like protecting, I'm protecting my thyroid and I'm protecting my eyes and I've got this hat on and all this stuff. And like there wasn't the healthiest group of people. So like, okay, you can protect from this thing. But then I actually stood up at the end and I was like, you know what, you guys, like, yes, you can mitigate EMF. Yes, you can be mindful. And yes, you can try to stop 5G if if that's what's in your path forward, right? Or you can try. But what about like prayer? What about the power of prayer and meditation and consciousness and like raising our consciousness above? Because you are all like infinite, intelligent, powerful beings, and you have more power than this is I felt like they're kind of giving their power away, but they're also not really even paying attention to like the food you eat. And we were talking the other day about like just bringing wheat and gluten and glyphosate or fluoridated water into your body. It actually blocks and stress and worry. It blocks information from coming in your body. We talked about that last week on our live, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So keeping all of those things in check, right? You can't just go, I'm going to mitigate all this EMF and then not pay attention to like the water you're drinking or, yeah. Anyway, it's just interesting. So my perspective this week has been spirit, mind, and then body all in one harmonious, I don't know, hourglass is coming to my mind.
And we're going to need some more. So, so people are worried because they're pushing this narrative in the mainstream about food shortages. And I'll continue to say there's no shortage of food. There's a shortage of a willingness to distribute the food that's already out there, number one. And number two, that food that's not going to be distributed probably in the near future is processed junk food.
Yeah.
So who cares if the processing plants and the monoculture, single crops that's destroying the earth food that's not healthy for you anyway.
That actually feeds the cows. It doesn't even feed us.
Well, where we live in the Midwest, all the corn and soy that you see are food for animals, not for people. So that's going to feed animals. And that's not healthy for the animal either, because they're supposed to be eating grass, not grains.
Right.
So what happens is, if there's a shortage in those things, that doesn't mean that there's a shortage of food. And one of the things that keeps popping up, and Lyndon had mentioned this too in the last comment, is that, so you can watch Waters Above Crypto had a YouTube live yesterday. It'll be erased in another like 10 hours because he erases it after 24 hours. But even he was talking about the same thing. And he said, like he had a different perspective than a lot of people. And it's similar to what our perspective is. And then we add to it. So we say, like, if you're worried about it, learn how to fast, because fasting is pretty easy and you don't have to eat as much food as you're already eating. And when you do eat food, then your body is going to absorb more of the nutrition from that food than it would normally if you're eating 3 meals a day. So first you're going to fast and go to like 1 meal a day.
I never thought of that.
You're going to extract more because you don't need all the nutrients from the food if you're eating all the time. So then you're going to be outside in the morning, setting your circadian rhythm, bare feet on the ground, absorbing free electrons. Your body runs, all the energy is produced from electrons, not food, electrons. The food is broken down to an electron, and then the electron runs through the electron transport chain to produce energy. So if you could just absorb the electrons without the food, same benefit. So by being barefoot on the ground, you absorb free electrons.
And we can bring that over to Kundalini, because when you do the Kundalini root lock, you're doing the same exact thing, and you're bringing that energy up into either your heart or your pineal gland. So
it's generating electrons?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's doing the same thing as
I mean,
ground.
I don't think you can translate that to like electron talk maybe, but energetically you can probably transmute, and I think you can generate energy. I mean, I think that's in maybe Lyndon, maybe from some more Kundalini experience, what that is. Like, what is it? Because you're taking dormant energy that's laying at the base of your spine. That's what Kundalini is.
So that's like an addition. It would be.
And then squeezing it up and bringing it up into your heart or to your brain.
Okay, so grounding gives you free electrons from the earth.
Yeah.
The Kundalini can transmute energetics from the cosmos, I would say, into your body.
Right.
Or dormant energy that's already in your
Supply
body.
our system, yeah.
And then, so those are two ways. Like, to me, the Kundalini / meditation is taking energy that's all around us from the ether and becoming an antenna, plus using the ground, the physical ground, we know there's free electrons in there because you can measure it. They come into your body for free. And then the sun is a source of free electrons as it hits your body and goes in through your eyes. So all of that is giving you free energy. Now, you're not going to be a breatharian, and Waters Above Crypto talked about this in his podcast as well. Not a good idea, because this is a really heavy time here on the earth. So we don't have as much ability in this time, potentially with the heavy energies, to be breatharian. We still have to take care of our bodies a little more carefully.
Yeah.
So that means you're going to need food, right? So if you're getting free electrons from the sun, from the earth, you're transmuting etheric energies from prayer, Kundalini, meditation. Okay, that's a great strategy. You're doing 1 meal a day. Everyone can survive on 1 meal a day. Then you're eating real food, not processed junk food. So when they run out of processed junk food, no need to panic, especially if it's during the spring, summer, or fall. There's plenty of food outside your door. Of course, our neighbors all spray their lawns and they don't have any food in their lawn, but we do. We haven't sprayed our lawn in at least 13 years or more. And we've got tons and like we can go out and make like a huge salad every night and never run out of food just from our yard. We have so much: dandelions, purslane, lamb's quarters, stinging nettle, and you can eat the whole dandelion, not just the dandelion leaves that they sell in the store.
The violets that are out right now.
Violets. The dandelion leaves are more nutritious than kale. They sell them at the grocery store. You can eat the dandelion leaves.
Ramps too right now.
They're really hard to find, and they're actually illegal to harvest ramps. So just
Okay,
be
don't
careful
do
with
that.
that. You're not supposed to take them because they're endangered. But so the dandelion leaf
But we do.
is edible. Say that again.
I'm just kidding.
And the flower is edible, raw or cooked, and the stalk that holds the flower. So, when you see the dandelion flowers and they've got that stalk, pick the whole stalk and you can eat the whole thing.
It's that milky stuff inside. What's that?
Latex. It's a latex chemical. It's fine. So
it's all distilled water too.
But you can look on our YouTube short, and we're eating violets, dandelion greens, dandelion flower, and the stalk. And I learned that from Sam Thayer. I thought you could only eat the dandelion leaves and that you could use the flower as a tea and you could dry it or use it fresh as a tea. But he's like, no, you pick every part of the dandelion. And he walked around and picked every flower on the stem and just ate the whole thing. And he said, this is great nutrition.
It's super detoxifying too.
Yep.
I mean, that's what people use dandelion for, but that's like in its most pure form.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't get better than that.
And then you could make a tea out of the flowers. You could dry them for later use. Or like when you get to the fall, you dig up the root of the dandelion and you make coffee from it.
Right.
People have dandelion coffee all the time. So the thing that's important is like fresh foods are not going to stop being grown because nature provides them. And if you're really worried about it, plant a fruit tree, find an orchard, become friends with a farmer. Those things are always going to be available to you. And you can always go out into nature and harvest.
Well, maybe we should talk about like finding local CSA in your area too, like what we do, finding local farmers.
Well, a lot of people,
And not to confuse CSA with like going and getting your box of vegetables, but like what?
well, that's what CSA is. Like
Well, I know, but like how we use it for different food other than vegetables. Because most people think about like a CSA as like you're part of a farm and then you get a box of vegetables. And a lot of times, like I don't even know what to do with a lot of that stuff.
well,
But
CSA
it's
is
good to have.
like community supported agriculture.
Yeah.
And the model typically is that you purchase a subscription to that farm before they
Right.
harvest and before they grow. So you're giving them the money they need to plant, buy seeds, fertilizer, pay for their living, their lifestyle, so
Mhm.
they can farm for you. And then you get a share of that crop.
And like,
Whatever
what
they
a
grow.
great model that is. Like, why don't we promote that more? But we also are part of another CSA where we get,
So
Um,
first,
oh, good.
you can just look up community supported agriculture in your city and you'll find farms that do it, or CSA in your city. That's one way. And that's how we usually find them, is like using the internet. You can find all those people that do local proteins, local eggs,
Yeah.
and local vegetables. And now, just recently, there's a guy, I think he's like a big trader who came from Chicago, but now he has a farm in Wisconsin. And he started an online source of all this food called Farm Match. And that's what you're going to talk about.
Oh, okay. That's that guy that we watched that video where he's crazy. Okay. Well, so the Farm Match, you go in and
Farmmatch.com.
farmmatch.com.
.org. Farmmatch.org.
Is it national or is it just Midwest or what?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we don't know that. So you have to do
I think
your
it's
own
all over.
research. So you go in and you order, like you
Well,
place your.
first for
Well,
Farm
then why
Match.
don't you just talk about
So
it?
for Farm Match, you can't just go in and order. So for
Oh, you have to be
farmmatch.com,
approved. And
for farmmatch.com, you search your zip code and it gives you all the farms that are associated with your zip code.
oh, see, like you did that. I don't even know about
Right.
that.
So
Oh,
then you can choose which local farm you want to join. You can join multiple. So some you'll join, you'll just get like milk, and some they just do eggs or vegetables. So we joined Freedom Farm Co-op for our area, and it's the whole Twin Cities.
okay.
And Freedom Farm Co-op is through Farm Match. And then when you get approved for a membership with Freedom Farm Co-op through Farm Match,
Oh,
you get access to their store, and it's like an Amazon store of local food. So
Okay.
they've got
I
tons of stuff.
I didn't understand the breakdown of all of that, but I'm like, oh, Thaddeus is going to order some cheese today.
So we order from Freedom
So-
Farm Co-op via Farm Match.
Yeah, but it's not like, okay, so and then that's the differentiation that I was trying to explain is like we go in and order like proteins and other things from the store rather than going and picking up our CSA vegetable box.
Yep. So we order it and it gets dropped off. So you would still have to come and pick it up. So like we're lucky, we're the drop site.
Yeah.
So it comes to our door, but so does everyone else's. So all their boxes of vegetables, fruit, berries, meats, eggs, milk, cream, yogurt, kefir, kombucha, like there's a
There's
ton
a
of
ton
stuff.
of stuff.
So
Fish.
yep, all that. And so then we have a refrigerator, freezer, and like a porch, covered porch area, and all that stuff gets dropped off. And there's a list of who gets what. And so we take our stuff, and then everyone else comes to our house, gets their stuff.
And it's nice too,
one
because
day a week.
you get to meet other like-minded people and they come to our house and we're just like, hey, what are you guys up to? And people are feeding their chickens. You can get chicken feed and it's not like GMO chicken feed. It's like good stuff.
So farmmatch.org. And if you're local or can get to the middle of Wisconsin, so that's like the driftless region of Wisconsin, the owner of Farm Match, or the founder of Farm Match, is hosting a party. And it used to be $7 to go to the party. Now the prices have gone up because it's getting like really big. So he's hosting a free party for 2 days at his farm.
Oh, and we're going to be gone. Dang it.
It's June 17th and 18th, I think.
Shoot.
So we won't be here. We'll be leading a Boundary Waters trip into the wilderness for EMF detox. But the founder of Farm Match is having a party. You can go to farmmatch.org and sign up for the party. And or look up his YouTube channel, look up founder of farmmatch.org. And on his YouTube channel, he tells you how to sign up in a video for the farm or for the farm party. And I think like Del Bigtree and like all these people.
Yeah,
are
he's
coming.
got like big names.
Yeah.
Super crazy.
So it'll be like this middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, and there's going to be a lot of big names coming, and the festival. And now he's looking for vendors, so we could have been a vendor there, which would have been great. So it's going to be fun, but we'll be in the Boundary Waters wilderness area.
Maybe we can have somebody have a booth for us.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right.
So then the last thing that I was just going to talk about is,
I know I got to get going to book club.
okay, so book club's coming up. So I'll just go through this on like all the new information. So
You're going to go through all the new information.
So if you think
Thaddeus
about,
can be very serious at times. It's really cute. I actually have to go.
oh, right now. Okay.
Well, what time is it? I can't see.
Yep.
What time is it?
9:30.
Okay. Are you going to be like 5 minutes or?
Mhm.
Okay.
So I was just going to say, if we've noticed, so James Chu brought this up, Crow 777 has brought this up. I've noticed it, but the sun, when I was a kid, was like yellow, and everyone drew it as yellow sun on their paper,
right.
like in art. But now it's not yellow. Like, go look at the sun. It's like white. And so
This is cool.
I've noticed that. Matt McKinley from Quantum Conscience, we've talked about that as well. And we've talked about seeing the moon during the day all the time. Like maybe when we were kids, the moon would be out during the day when the sun was out once in a while. But now it's like every day. Like every day, pretty much, I can go out and see the moon and the sun in the daytime sky.
Yeah.
It was always like sun comes up, moon goes down. Moon comes up, sun goes down. But now that doesn't happen that way anymore. They're both up at the same time. All the time. Never have I seen it that often. Okay. So then the sun being white, what James Chu says is that's because, like, notice how many people are like learning new things and all this hidden information is suddenly coming to light. It's always been there, but now we're starting to see it, like just now. For instance, on YouTube, look up Newsbenders. 1968. So there's only like 3 or 4 episodes that survived. It's only 30 minutes. It's done by the BBC. It's like a television show.
Oh, that's the thing we watched the other night.
It's 30 minutes long TV show segments, but just look up the one from 1968, 1968 Newsbenders. And it's where this guy is coming in to interview for like a job in the news agency.
Whack.
And that was done in 1968, but it tells you in that episode from 1968, like that's when it was done. That the news is fake, that astronauts are fake, that space is fake, that nuclear weapons are fake, that all the wars are faked and they're put on by the news media. Not that people don't actually have to fight in them, but the reasons they're doing it and who's running it is faked. I mean, it goes on and on and on about all the fake stuff and how they do it. Back in 1968.
And how they control people to do it.
So
at the end, it's
yeah,
crazy.
like the little implants that they implant microchips into you in 1968 to listen to you and to track you. Like there's no way somebody could have figured all that out in 1968 unless it's always been known. And if everyone saw all these things that were going on back then, why didn't we know about it till now? We're learning about the 1968.
Because the sun didn't tell us back then.
So they're saying like the sun is so much whiter because it's all this new information and intense information is coming from the sun to our planet right now. Our planet, our plane, or whatever we live on. So
does that mean in the morning time we should be out like doing our gazing and bringing in more information, or should we?
If that's your thing, I mean, I think so.
Okay. I know what with Shayla, our galactic shaman friend, talks about bringing it into your solar plexus and like kind of opening that.
Solar. That's why, because your solar plexus, solar means sun, soul, sun. And so you're bringing it through your eye to the solar plexus. The plexus is the nexus or the place where all these things meet. Yeah. And that's where all the sun meets all the parts of your body.
I know. But she was saying like literally like go show your belly to the sun and like program it in the morning. I love how Lyndon says, arise and shine. Jeremy Hill would have a heyday with that.
Well, so,
Same.
and James True actually said, so mourning, if you think about the word mourning, he's
Mourning.
like, someone died, I'm mourning.
Yeah.
So they say words have meaning, and if it sounds like something, it is like that. So just because it's spelled differently doesn't mean it still doesn't mean that same
Right.
ultimate thing. So instead of every time you're waking up and telling people like, oh, good grieving to you, you would say a different word.
Let's say this: arise and shine.
Well, and James True
I
also
love
had one
that.
I wanted to share, which is cool.
Oh.
Which he says
I like
good.
what Lyndon has to say.
Okay, so
no, I want to
we'll
hear
do
what you have to say. I'm teasing.
Okay, so
Let's
then,
hear it.
well, he says good mooring, M-O-R-I-N-G, because we're all ships in a harbor.
Good mooring.
Because we're all ships in a harbor. We came to the birth, like a ship's birth canal.
But you gotta
I
say it
dock.
with the English accent.
We
then.
came to the dock, so the dock tour took us out of the
Good morrow.
etc. So
would you say
mooring.
morrow?
So you're all ships moored. Yes.
Wait, you gotta say it with the English accent.
I cannot do
Good
that.
morning. Good morning, darling.
She's much better at
No, I
this.
don't know what I'm saying. I'm just being a dork. I do like a rise and shine though. That's so awesome.
Mhm.
Like the
anything that's different than what they
Oh,
give us,
yeah.
because what's been given to us is what we need to overcome, and it's been given to us. So one of the cool things about James True and others is they're saying all this negativity that's being pushed and all the things that we're seeing that are so obviously like fake and easily being able to see through them.
Right.
That is because if you are living in like the best dream ever, there's no incentive for you to wake up. If you're living in more of a nightmare, you want to wake up. And so his thesis is that in order to wake more people up right now, there's crazy shit happening all over the place, so that enough of us wake up before whatever's coming happens, so that we're ready for the next stage of whatever it is.
It's interesting. Hey, what do you think about what Lyndon's saying with the evolve and evil?
Yeah, live and evil backwards, and
Yeah.
love and evil. So love is actually evil and live is evil. They both are the same word backwards. So that is what I think. You have, just because things are opposite doesn't mean they're not the same. So to live is to experience evil, and to love is to also experience evil, because here's this hand and here's this hand, but they're attached to the same being. So this is the opposite hand. They're the opposite of each other, but they can also come together, and they also both occur in the same being, opposites. So just because something backwards is opposite, it's because in our duality nature, we live in the nature of duality currently. So there's light and there's dark, and it doesn't mean that one's good and one's bad.
Right.
It just means they both are.
For sure.
So left and right, they're opposites. They just both exist. Doesn't mean one's bad and one's good. But if you look up the etymology of left, it means bad.
Yeah.
And right means good.
Right.
Right. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Right.
So right. So it's the duality, but it comes together in our reality. And that's what you need to do, is to take the duality
And bring it whole.
and bring it together to know that both are okay, and to be comfortable and not divisive. You don't want to create division. You don't want to divide these things. You want to bring them together and be okay with either one and not react to that.
And that's what Lori Ladd talks about. She's like, if you're doing anything that perpetuates the divide, like you need to kind of take a step back and become more of the observer in it, right? And I love that terminology, like to perpetuate the divide, because it makes you like stop and go, wait, is this thing that I'm saying making people more in opposition and more divisive, or the thing I'm saying bringing people together? And like, just think if more people would talk about that, or like even say that, right? I mean, that's a really good message.
All right.
What'd she say? The word.
Oh, it's coded. Of course, 100. Like, if I learned nothing from these books, from James True, from Waters Above, from Crow 777, every word is coded. And the power words are coded even more. So is love coded? Definitely, it's a more coded and loaded word than other words, because it's a power word.
Can we code it ourselves?
Word magic has been so ingrained that you can, but I think the magic in there is so prevalent, you need to code new things. And you'll be more effective by using coding in your brain away from the negative coding potentially that's been pushed on a lot of the stuff around us.
So
But yes, you can recode and remember, put back together,
Right.
remember, putting things back together.
all the
yourself.
king's horses and all the king's men.
Another code.
That one's very interesting. Okay, so what about the word love then? What do we do with that? I'm holding it here. We use it? We don't use it? We recode it? What do you guys think?
That's
Like helping our neighbors and etc. Yes.
Of course, like you be the change you want to see. You be the love or the frequency that you want to embody.
I just said that to my client yesterday. That was so fun. Yeah. I'm like, you don't have to go, because like the person was saying, I'm a giver and I'm giving all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, all you have to do is be. Like, you be the light. And then you're going to shine your light so big that you're going to get other people.
You'll attract other lights.
And magnetize.
Other light beings will
right?
be attracted.
So
And
the word hold.
if you want to give and you want to do random acts of kindness or anonymous acts of kindness, don't expect anything back.
Yeah.
Do it because you are learning about yourself, not because you want to gain something.
It's in that Friends episode. Do you remember that Friends episode?
I do not.
Maybe you guys remember that. And Phoebe's like, there are no selfless acts. Because every time you do a selfless act, you are making it better for yourself. Or like, you're feeling good. And she's like, she keeps pointing out to all the rest of the friends that every time they do something, it's not selfless. It's actually really interesting. That's one of the more interesting episodes, I think.
So you should be more selfish.
I mean,
by knowing yourself.
I mean, know thyself, right? But isn't that what Waters Above Crypto says?
Well, a lot of the people are saying your goal here is not to take care of everyone else, but to know yourself as the most important thing. You're here to know yourself.
I think that can get taken out of perspective and balance too. Like, there's a balance to that, because you don't want to be a narcissist asshole either, right? I mean, there's egotism and all that comes with entitlement.
If you know yourself,
that, right?
I think part of knowing yourself is not falling into those ego traps, because you need to understand your ego and how it's used here on this plane. And it's necessary to have that on this plane. We're not going to get away from it, but you don't want it to control what you're doing. And that's part of knowing yourself. So likely knowing yourself doesn't lead to the narcissism and other things.
True. But I mean, okay, we could go down a whole bunny rabbit hole.
Different discussion.
All right, I'm going to take this to book club and have some fun with it.
Yeah.
With my friends. And you guys all have an amazing day and beautiful life.
Okay, everybody, have a great day. Make sure your spirit is giving off the frequency of joy, success, and abundance.